The distress beacon flickered weakly on Addison's scanner, barely a whisper in the void between Jupiter's orbit and the asteroid belt. She leaned forward in her salvage runner's cockpit, her dark eyes narrowing at the readout. "Anthony, you seeing this?" She called over the comm. Her partner's voice crackled through. "Yeah, Zel-3 cargo hauler. Looks like dead in the water, running dark. 2. No life support signatures." Addison adjusted their approach vector. "Could be valuable salvage. Could be a trap," Anthony countered, ever the cautious one. His ship pulled alongside hers, two small vessels dwarfed by the massive derelict ahead. The Zel-3 hauler was enormous, easily 3 kilometers long, its sleek alien architecture now marred by scorch marks and vented atmosphere. They'd been salvage partners for 5 years, ever since the Galactic Council had reluctantly granted humanity limited trading rights. Most species looked down on humans as primitive newcomers, barely worthy of acknowledgement. Salvage work was one of the few professions open to them. Addison maneuvered closer, her trained eyes scanning the hull. There, airlocks still intact on the port side. "I'm picking up ... Wait." She frowned at her instruments. "There's power somewhere deep inside. Minimal, but it's there. Thought you said no life support." "I did. This is different. Like emergency batteries on a closed system." She bit her lip. "We should check it out," Anthony sighed. "You always say that. Remember the Krillian depot? We made 30,000 credits off that haul, after nearly getting spaced by automated defenses." Details. Addison was already suiting up. "Come on, fortune favors the bold." 20 minutes later, they'd breached the airlock and entered the hauler's cavernous interior. Their helmet lights cut through absolute darkness, revealing corridors built for beings twice their height. The Zel-3 were mantis-like creatures, all chitinous elegance and barely concealed disdain for mammalian species. "Ship's been stripped," Anthony observed, running a gloved hand along an empty cargo rack. Professionally, this wasn't pirates then, why leave it drifting? Addison moved deeper into the ship, following the faint power signature on her handheld scanner. Why not salvage it properly or destroy it completely? They found their answer 3 decks down. The cargo hold stretched before them like a metallic cathedral, and within it stood rows upon rows of stasis pods. Thousands of them. Addison's breath caught as her light swept across the chamber. "Oh my God," Anthony whispered. They approached the nearest pod. Inside, suspended in pale blue fluid, was a child, human, no more than 7 years old. Eyes closed in artificial sleep, chest rising and falling with mechanical precision. Addison moved to the next pod. Another child, and the next, and the next. "They're all children," she said, her voice hollow. "Anthony, they're all human children." Her partner was already working on a data terminal, his fingers flying across the Zel-3 interface. "I'm accessing the manifest. Addison, there are 12,000 pods in here, all active, all human. Where did they come from?" "Colony worlds, looks like, from across the outer territories. They're listed as..." He paused, his face going pale behind his helmet visor. "They're listed as contaminated biological material, slated for disposal via solar incineration." Addison felt ice flood her veins. Disposal? They were going to kill 12,000 children. The pods are marked as quarantine units. Something about a pathogen detected during routine medical screenings on various human colonies. Anthony pulled up more data. "But this doesn't make sense. The pathogen is listed as developmental genetic marker HG-47. That's not a disease. That's human genetics." Addison finished, realization dawning. They weren't contaminated. They were just human. The pieces fell into place with horrifying clarity. The Galactic Council had always been clear about their tolerance for humanity, limited, conditional, and entirely at their discretion. These children, found to carry certain genetic markers that were simply part of being human, had been deemed dangerous, contaminated, unworthy of life, and the Zel-3 had been hired to dispose of them. Quietly, the hauler wasn't abandoned. Anthony said softly, "It was dumped. Something went wrong with their disposal run, maybe engine failure, and rather than report it and risk exposure, they just left them here. Left these kids to die slowly when the pod's power finally runs out." Addison's hands trembled with rage. "How long do they have?" "At current power levels, maybe 3 months. After that, the pods shut down one by one." She turned to him, her eyes blazing. "We're not leaving them." "Addison, we can't possibly. We're not leaving them, Anthony." Her voice was steel. "I don't care what it takes. We're human. Those are human children." "Our children?" Anthony stared at her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Okay, but our ships can't carry 12,000 people, even in stasis." "Then we call for help. Every human vessel in range." Every colony, every station, every salvage runner and cargo hauler we know. She was already activating her long-range comm. We'll broadcast on every frequency. Humanity saves its own. The Council will try to stop us. If word gets out, let them try. Addison's smile was fierce. They dumped these kids like garbage. Like we're garbage. They'll learn they made a mistake. Humanity doesn't abandon its children, ever. The broadcast went out within the hour, encoded in human languages and carrying a simple message. 12,000 of their children needed rescue, and the coordinates where they could be found. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Ships changed course from across the system. Colony governors pledged resources. Even the roughest salvagers, pirates, and frontier dwellers answered the call. Because whatever humanity was primitive, young, brash, they were also something the galaxy had forgotten how to be. They were a family. 3 weeks later, the last child was evacuated to safety. Addison watched the rescue fleet disperse, each ship carrying precious cargo back to human space. Anthony stood beside her, exhausted but grinning. "We did it," he said simply. "We did." Addison looked out at the stars, at the vast galaxy that had tried to dispose of their children like trash. And now they know. You don't mess with humanity's kids. The Galactic Council would protest, threaten, and rage. But the message had been sent, louder than any words. 12,000 children lived because humans had decided they would, and that made all the difference.